Or on live.
Has it said it?
Oh, yeah.
Are we live? Oh, sorry. Hello, everyone. Um, It's Sophie here today, joining you, host on Jonathan's channel. How is everybody today?
Hello, everyone.
I
Sophie's
don't have
hosting today.
I don't have the comments, so Jonathan's going to have to be in charge of the comments. I will just be in charge of rambling, I suppose.
Yeah, if I put it on the screen, it should come up below on the screen. Sophie, are you able to turn your phone sideways?
Yeah, there we are.
Always sideways.
How's that?
There we go. Very good.
There we go.
Let's see what's going on. Right, let's see what's going on in the live chat. Oh, composition consultant left a message. So, hey guys, unfortunately our good friend Jerome can't make it here today due to feeling under the weather. Please make his day by subscribing to his channel and viewing his excellent content.
Yes, definitely do.
Yes, very good.
Hope he feels better soon.
Yeah, hopefully. Hoping that.
I tried to take on Jerome by being in like a checkered shirt, which is kind of slightly tight on the arms, just because that's normally
The
what he
same
does.
style.
Yeah, same style.
Same
We're like
style.
twins.
Yeah, I'm wearing my vest today because I'm pretty chill.
You're
Yeah.
probably quite warm as well. You get quite hot.
Yeah, I've had my window open all day today.
Mm. Glad you're not here because it's been bloody cold to have the window open.
Yeah, I haven't moved much today. I've had 1 or 2 naps today.
Lucky you.
As I do.
As you do. Love a good nap. There's a big Neves here. Hello.
Besides, hi folks, and have a wonderful weekend. Hey, it's Big Nev. How's it going? It is Friday, isn't it? I think this is actually episode... I'm probably going to get it wrong. 26 or 27 of Carnivore Muscle Ramblings.
Wow.
Already this year.
That's crazy. They've done so many.
And that's not including the 5 or 6 that we did initially without StreamYard. So, yeah, we've done about 30 live. So, probably including like the long ones, we do about 40 hours of free live Q&A content. Of course,
You
I've had
lucky devil.
love a ramble, but I've been fortunate to have quite a few members on my channel. So, Big Dev's a member, as well as a few others. Jerome's definitely a member.
Me.
There's others. Sophie's a member. I'm just looking for a chat now. Yeah, quite a few loyal subscribers as well, which is good to hear. Very
We
good.
appreciate.
Yeah, I appreciate people turning up more than anything because it means it gives someone to give the information to, and it's nice to talk with someone actually listening to you rather than talking to yourself. So, very good. Excellent. Right, we shall proceed. Hi, Jonathan. I did it a few weeks ago. I hope that he is okay and he'll be ready for the contest. Yeah. Yeah, we've all been feeling rough recently. Like, a lot of people have been feeling rough. I think Jerome blames me for picking it up over the internet waves.
Yeah,
my
I'm
guess.
still all bunged up and snotty. So I think it's just the joy of our typical English weather, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure how close I can get this microphone to my face just thinking about it. Because at the moment, the bottom bit's like hitting my... It's like that far from my chest, so I'm going to be knocking it if I keep moving it. So,
You sound very clear, so...
Yeah, hopefully. Hey, oh, that sucks about Jerome. He's been going hard with prep and running on very little sleep. Caught up on him, I guess. Yeah, that happens to everyone. You know, it's so hard to recover. Like, when I talk to bodybuilders about contest prep, it's always recovery. It's a problem. You know, you can try as hard as you want. Like, I remember falling asleep on the gym floor, like, after workouts all the time. I'd go to the gym, fall asleep, have my pre-workout, fall asleep again, then do a weights workout, and just the same process all the time. Always knackered. Especially when you get lean, like lean. Hello, fellow brothers in beef and sisters in steak. Can listen in on this one while taking it easy. Yeah, fair enough. It's nice of you to be here, Jerome. Appreciate you've made it. Yeah, he's had a few naps today already. He's taken some time off work, which is probably much needed. Very good.
I don't know
Question when
whether
get
that's looks actually.
Yep. Question when getting over a cold, how do you gauge when you're good enough to train again? I have a habit of working out too soon and getting sick for a few more days. That's a good question, actually.
Mm.
I've been guilty of always training when I've been ill, like all the time. What do you think, Sophie?
Um, I mean, I would say when you just don't feel like tired. So obviously, I'm like still ill at the minute. Um, the English weather is kind of stopping me training as well as me being ill. But I know that I've done the same of I've trained when I've still been sick, and then when I've started my workout, I can just feel that I'm not very strong. Like I'll do my first set, and then I'm more like knackered than I normally am, and it's like I don't normally, you know, puff and pant this much after one's like the first set. So I think that's a good kind of gauge as to maybe you're not ready. Yeah, I would just kind of see how you feel like inside. Do you still feel tired and run down and slow and sluggish? If so, just take an extra day.
Very good. Yeah, trying to think where I stand on that. I think the same thing, really. I mean, James, fortunately, he's in a position where he can go to work in a studio where he does his gym sessions. It might be that he goes in one day, gets his gym gear ready, and has his drink or whatever he has to do to, like, anything that's part of his ritual is important. Then once he recognises that, then he goes to the gym and he thinks, okay, I'm going to do some bicep curls today. He'll walk in, pick up the cable or the barbell or whatever he happens to be using, and he'll think, this feels like a drag. That's a good indicator.
Mm.
You should be, as a bodybuilder, you should enjoy training. We all enjoy training, and if you don't feel that sense of like enjoyment from the first set, I think just leave it out. Just because you've done one set doesn't mean you have to carry on and do the other 4 or 5 sets you usually be doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to think what else. Noticing your body temperature. Do you have a headache? How's your appetite doing? If you're not in a position to be able to eat to recover from the training sessions you're doing, that might impact your recovery. So you might actually make yourself feel worse. Get some sort of viral infection perhaps as well, so not ideal.
I think if in doubt, take an extra day. It's not going to harm your training, is it, to take an extra day? And then at least when you do get back in the gym, you'll be, fit as a fiddle and ready to go kind of thing.
Yeah, I've done the same thing recently. I think I've had 3 days off. I trained today and it was an alright session. I didn't feel overly strong today, but I got some good muscular contractions. I was debating if to go to the gym tomorrow morning or Sunday, and I'm pretty torn really. So if I wake up tomorrow and I feel up for it, I might go tomorrow. But if not, no pressure, no rush. Just go the day after.
Yeah.
It makes it easy to manage when your training level's always at the same amount. When you're near enough always training to or close to failure, you can kind of identify what workout you need to be doing. Because if you're just going to do a half-assed workout, you're not going to make progression from that. You're just oxidizing fat and breaking down muscle tissue, which you might not be able to build upon more. So I just leave it out. It's an adaptive process. The muscle doesn't disappear straight away, so just take your time.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been to the gym all week, but I know that if I try and do a workout, it's not going to be very strong. I'm just going to get annoyed at myself that it's not like my normal reps and stuff. So it's just going to be like a pointless thing, isn't it? I may as well just give it the extra couple of days and wait till I'm fully ready.
Yeah. Milwaukee, Wisconsin area. Sounds like somewhere in America, doesn't it?
Somewhere.
Nice. Don't be bashing on us some Canadians. Lol. I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I tried the appliance lifting strap squat exercise. It was good. Not sure I did it exactly correct, but the strap dug into my hips. Left nice bruise. Padding next time.
I get a lot of bruises from the gym. Normally where I like walk into the bar or hit it with the plate as I'm trying to get it up.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward in the gym I'm training at when I'm back at my place. It's a good gym, there's nothing inherently wrong with it. It just, for me, sometimes I'm struggling to navigate around like the PTs or the the people training there. So I'll be carrying a weight, and I'm like, I need to get this onto that thing there, but there's someone like leaning against it. It's like, it's just the things are too close together. It's a bit, means I'm holding a disc in an awkward angle a lot of time, and it's quite. But yeah, not any bruises, just like little niggles, you know.
Yeah.
That's a good top tip. Use a towel.
Mhm.
I'm frying chicken for lunch. Very good.
No iguana.
Hey Victoria, how's it going? I'm going to get back to your question. Perhaps tomorrow or tonight. We'll see. I'm very tired.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very good. I'm trying to make some cooking videos. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. I've been waiting for your video, actually, that you said you'd do 3 months ago about boiling beef, I think it was. And I remembered you talking about that quite a few months ago. So I'm waiting for that one to be aired live. Well, I say live, it will be recorded, but, you know. California style, chicken style. Isn't that just fried chicken?
Probably. Doesn't he fry it in lard as well, Rick?
Yeah, usually.
Mm.
Yeah. Interestingly, one of my original favourite bodybuilders, Evan Centopani, he's now using not a carnivore style diet, but he's actually using like lard and tallow and different fats to cook his food in. And everyone's in the bodybuilding industry that like talks about nutrition stuff's like, you can't do that, you get a heart attack. And I'm like, oh God, catch up. Be fine. Chicken drumsticks. Yeah, Sophie and I by Big Pack says I'm not much of a fan very often. I find I chew into them and I get a bit bored after a while. It doesn't appeal to me very much.
No. Well, I only get them because Tilly quite likes them. She likes chicken on the bone, doesn't she?
Chicken on the bone. That's what she says.
Yeah. Is it on the bone? Technically, it's always on the bone.
Yeah. Last time those iguanas were expecting him and tried to kill him with a coconut.
Be careful, Jerome. You're going to get flashbacks of that comment.
We're going to need some more questions in the chat, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can only see what you're clicking on, so.
I rushed around yesterday to get this microphone sorted out, especially. Nonetheless, it's testing anyway, so that's amazing.
Hope you're feeling better, Rick. Anyway, your neck.
Yeah.
When the coconut hit you on the head.
Yeah, hopefully. It'll bounce back pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's got a good diet.
I'm not sure what that would do. Coconut oil.
Like a massage oil, like obviously in exchange for that, maybe.
Yeah, good massage oil, maybe. My neck recovered on its own. There we go. That makes sense.
Good job.
That's quick. Rumbled muscles signing in. What's up with you bodybuilders dropping like flies all the time? Yeah, it is nuts, isn't it? You'll be glad to know, lambs, I've been resting a lot recently. Like, I dread to think how many hours of sleep I'm getting each day. At night time it's a bit up and down, but I'm just resting all the time. Like, I'm thinking, what can I possibly do to make life easier for myself and less painful? Everything's based around that right now. It's driving me a bit insane because I like to do stuff. I'm a very, very productive person, but I managed to increase my work productivity a little bit, my workflow. Yeah, the fatigue is unreal. The fatigue is actually worse than what it was prior to my surgery, I think. I'd say it's as bad as it's ever been. Definitely.
It's just the hip, though, isn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah, the pain in the hip, it wears you down. You know, it's that headachy sort of wear you down, constant pain, fatigue. You know, I'm so certain it's linked. Obviously, I'm not eating much food. I say not much for me. Like I'm I'm struggling to keep weight on, even with like my carnivore protein butter bites and adding fat to everything I eat or something.
Mm.
Hey Bruno, how's it going? I'll see you. I'm glad you landed safely. Assuming that's what you've done.
I mean, I should hope so. That was a couple of days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been a long plane journey.
Well, yeah. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Victoria. How's it going? She asked me a good question. I didn't read it properly because I've not had a chance to yet, but it's about fasting in the carnivore diet. Yes.
Good.
Carl asked, he's in one room, you're in the other. Lol.
What, is in me and Jonathan? No, we're in different houses.
Complete different house. We're separated by about 90 miles or something.
About 90 miles, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally we're right next to each other. I'm like leaning to try and get in the camera.
Yeah, Sophie's been kind enough to join me today. Usually I just give her like the microphone and give it to her to attach to herself. Then we put an earphone in each, then we just do it together. But this time she's got to use her phone. So basically I've got the it's like a microphone box which attaches to a headphone or a set of earphones and a microphone, which I attach to myself and Sophie separately. I've got the box and one of the microphones. She's got one of the microphones, so she can't actually use it.
No.
I think she could technically if she got an adapter, but the main thing about the microphone is to be able to use the... Oh, I was speaking to Matthew earlier. I think it's the exciter. No, the other thing. Can't remember what it's called for the life of me. The compressor. Yeah. There's different little processing tweaks you can use on microphones, and yeah, basically you can hear Sophie anyway. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Not too bad, just a phone.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Picture quality is good.
Good.
I'd hope so. It's a 4,000 pixel camera.
It's
And
the
8,000. Well, both Sophie's and my phone are 4,000 pixels at the front and 8,000 on the back. Yeah, sometimes when you upload videos to YouTube, it comes out as 1080p. And you upload it in 4K and you think, wow, that was a complete waste of time. So it's a complete mystery because everything in my videos sometimes will be recorded in 4K.
Yeah.
Absolute mystery. And it'd be like a 5 gigabyte file as well sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Jerome said, dig the new mic setup, Jonathan. You need to open up an apparel store so I can get a CC tank. What do you think? These are quite nice, actually. Yeah, I was thinking of like sending some stuff over to Jerome at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe Matthew as well. We've got to look at like the postage costs, because if it's something like that big, but I can fill it with more stuff, I could put more things in. It makes it worth the postage. I'd rather pay £10 more and get more stuff in it.
Oh yeah, we can give them some like little CC merch, can't we?
CC merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just have to get their sizes and stuff and get it made.
We know what the Americans are like. Their sizes are a lot bigger, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, aren't they, compared to ours?
So their larges are extra large. So Colt gave me I think it's a 2XL tapered gym t-shirt, and it's very snug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I probably run about 3XL. I mean, my pump covers a 4XL, generally speaking, but I tend to run at 3XL. But yeah, Jerome, if you let us know your details, we can look at getting your CC vest within the next 3 months. At some point.
Because I got to get it made and then send it over.
Yeah. I'm actually waiting from Amazon today to get some panels on the side of the wall. I've got like a foam panel thing here, but it's very unclear how much sound difference it actually makes. I'm going to get probably a rug at some point, like a second-hand rug, just to put below me, because when I sit down this chair to record, it's quite wobbly.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm always... Yeah, and I'm always rocking because I'm always spinning and stuff. Yeah. So I'd like to get some panels on this wall at least. So I'm thinking about 24 of them, which are about that big. It'll cover the wall. We're not going to run out of red and black panels to match my logo. Very good. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. I see you did an interview with the Australian lady, I believe. I need to watch that perhaps at some point. Sophie, you do justice in the plaid shirt.
Thank you for the butt.
Very good.
My new small size that I had to buy.
Yeah, Jerome, you probably know what I mean by this, but you know some gym vests you buy, they're really nipply. So you have like a gym vest that's like that thin, and it'll be like 2XL or something. And they'll be like that, and you're like, why is this gym vest so narrow? Who is it? Is it built for children?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they make them that way, because it's just showing off your chest. You know, it's not. It drives me nuts.
Get a lot of nip slips in some of your vests, don't you?
It drives me mental. They don't think about people that wear these gym clothes. You know.
No, because
It's all, you know.
I swear men's nipples aren't that close together anyway, even if they don't have big muscles.
Yeah, it's quite strange. Sounds great.
And try not to get him a
Yeah.
nipply shirt.
Yeah. I've got so many t-shirts and shirts and things. I've got so many clothes, right? I actually have to use my bed to keep them out, to like lay them out, because I've got no room in my cupboard, no room in any of my drawers. They're all there behind me. So I don't need any more clothes whatsoever. I'm done getting clothes. It's really something to bother me now, because all my drawers are bursting at the seams.
And your stuff here as well.
Yeah. Yeah, too many t-shirts. It's insane. Yeah, cheers, Brenny. It sounds not too bad, doesn't it?
Good.
Yeah, it's hard to get right. I can't get this mic for the life of me closer unless I'm like banging it, so I can't. Quoo. Thoughts on stretching. This is interesting, actually. I was reading over some notes. Jerome did separately, and I did some notes on stretching as well. And I think I did a video on stretching recently, or maybe it was a Q&A. I can't remember. But yeah, I think stretch. I don't mind some dynamic stretching prior to workouts. I think it can be useful if you're coming from an environment where you're very cold to going somewhere where you're training in the gym. So warm me up effectively. I think that can be useful in some circumstances. Ideally, you keep those sort of dynamic stretches relevant to the movement that you're doing. It's almost like exciter repetitions, you know. Other than that, I think you can do some static stretches, which you do progressively. So you start in a position that feels safe and comfortable. As time goes on, your breathing steadies. You know, you're less of a stressed state. The actual length and position of the stretch will actually increase. You'll notice this if you're doing any stretch pretty much. So, for example, if you go on a standing calf raise and do a calf stretch, then you leave it 30 seconds. You'll notice by the end of that 30 seconds, your calf will go from, say, here to like here. And there'll be some slight improvement because your muscle fibers actually relax as a result of that. Because they realize your brain tells your muscles, you know, I feel safe in this position. I'm not died. I've not torn my muscle yet, so I can keep stretching down further. Stretching at least 30 seconds in every circumstance when it comes to a static hold stretch. I think you should keep them distant from your workout program. And it's mainly for the sake of improving mobility. I was looking at a literature review recently on stretching and how it doesn't actually provide much more benefit over doing full range of motion workouts. It might have just been a research article, I can't remember. But basically, the upshot of it all was you don't need to add in stretching if you're doing full range of motion movements. But if your goal is to be more mobile, or you have a particular issue where, for example, a lot of people have the hip flexors on the front of their thigh very tight, that might limit your range of motion. Or, for example, in your Achilles tendon, your calf muscles might be tighter, so you might limit your ability to squat down and get a good depth. Assuming you can squat down that far and activate your muscles safely. I like stretching to be as far apart from training as possible. I think it can aid in recovery to some extent because it provides some occlusion which will increase the uptake of nutrients through the bloodstream. I how do I know that? It's the same effect as any sort of hormesis. So, for example, hot or cold therapy, your body will have a regulatory system to improve the blood flow to that area, whether that be to lower the temperature or increase temperature, or increased or decreased blood flow based on the amount of blood supply that's going to it. Your body always wants to feel safe and be at equilibrium. So that's my roundabout tour on stretching. That should answer most, if not all, of your questions. Sophie, what do you think?
I mean, I've never done any stretching prior to working out. Like I say, if you can't kind of do the full range of motion, then you're kind of like your joints are a bit tight or something, then yeah, maybe might then help. Or if you've got like an injury or something like a shoulder injury, and you've got to kind of loosen it up a little bit before you stick a weight on it, then sure. But I mean, I wouldn't say it's kind of essential for working out, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone do any stretching in the gyms unless they're doing it just to kind of flex their biceps in the mirror so they can look at themselves.
It's an interesting anecdote you just made there, because I'd say for about 90% of people that I have seen at any point doing stretching in the gym, they've had the worst physiques in the gym. Maybe they're athletes, so they're not body composition inclined in that sort of sense, but maybe there's something to devoting all your time to sort of doing like twisting and like people do this sort of thing like 2 seconds and do that for like 2 seconds, and
Yeah.
a stretch has to be a hold, otherwise you're not signaling your body to relax that given muscle or joint area. I think so. If you can just do stretching, do it properly, definitely.
Yeah. But I think some people do it just to show off that they can do it. Like, when they do that and then they use the other hand to kind of link in, so they, just to show that they can do it, or balancing on one leg and stretching your quads.
Yeah.
I think they do it just to show off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick said, if no people listen to me, I can always talk to the ducks.
But what if they don't listen? What if they just walk on?
Well, they'll respond in some way. You get some physical response from them. It might be that they walk off, like you say. Because they would have had to hear you to know to walk off. Yeah. Yeah, I've got ducks and swans in the river behind me, actually. Just the row of houses behind them, we've got the river behind me, so I can always visit them if I'm ever lonely. Probably not, though. I probably don't ever get lonely. I just keep to myself and try not to speak to people. It's interesting that one reason I gave him weight training is that whenever I seemed to make progress, I would get sick and lose it all. Yeah, maybe your body's just meant to be that way. It might be, Rick, that you're training like an absolute madman. So when you start a training, you train really hard, then you just couldn't recover from it. That's quite possible. Like, if, for example, if I was to go back in time and look at my training programs, I'd think, okay, I'm not going to do like German volume training 10 times 10. I'm probably going to like dig into my recovery state too much, so it wouldn't be beneficial. So I'd probably be overtraining then. That's, we see all these articles when we're starting up, and it makes it very confusing to people. So Jerome and I are actually working now on a slightly less intensive project than we originally planned, but we might also do the other project, and that'll be in the form of the ultimate carnivore bodybuilding. I'll say pocketbook or like guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. No worries, Victoria. No worries. Hello, baddest cat. Question: any tips for staying away from junk food if you have little kids and processed snacks in the house? Don't let family buy it. Don't buy it yourself. Put it in a cupboard which is out of reach. So if you've probably got better advice than me, like where is the cupboard that I can't get to very often?
I mean, you can get to it. You never need to be in it. Well, yeah, it's too lazy, but you never need to go in it. So I think, because I know that if you see it, you'll end up having it. I'll put it in a cupboard that you don't really go into. So I
And it's in
think,
a box as well, isn't it? Like a
and it's
chest.
inside a box labeled like Tilly's snacks or something, just so it's not in plain sight anyway. It's inside a pretty pink box, which he's not going to go into. But I would say, Jerome, either put it in a cupboard that you don't really go in, so then you're not going to open it up and see it, or get the kids to put it in a cupboard so that you don't even know where it is. And then obviously when they say, Dad, can I have one? And you say, yeah, they know where it is. And then if you're feeling like you're tempted for it, go and eat something else, like go and eat an egg or a bit of meat or a bit of cheese or whatever that you're eating at the time. Even if it's not like your meal time, but you're obviously thinking about food because you're wanting the processed junk food. So then just go and eat something else that you were planning that evening. And then obviously, hopefully that's kind of steered your head away from food because you've just eaten.
Yeah, how would you suggest this to someone that has a family where they've got a mixed diet within the household?
What, as in the staying away from it?
Mm.
I mean, it depends on what your mindset's like. Whether you can prepare it for other people and just not eat it, then obviously you're fine. Or like me, you have no other choice but to prepare it. So I just think you just have to keep telling yourself mentally it's not going to do you any favors. It's not worth it. And then, like I say, if you're thinking about it constantly, then just go and eat something else. And I think you always say eat an egg. An egg's probably the best thing if you're hungry or just thinking about food.
Yeah. So nutrient dense, your body won't. I mean, I know some people that can eat like 20 eggs, but most people, they're not going to eat 20 eggs. Like, if I'm sat here right now, I'm going to have my meal after this brief live Q&A, but if I'm sat here right now, I could probably chew on about 4, 5, 6 eggs, and after that point, I'm done. So imagine you've had a meal before that.
Yeah.
You know, your body will just send you a signal, stop, you know.
Yeah. I mean, even if you get like, we got some biltong from Costco's, even if you get like a pack of that, and then if you're feeling like maybe not peckish, but you're obviously bored, if you're thinking about having the junk food, it's probably more boredom. So then just pick out like your biltong or, homemade jerky or whatever that you have. And then at least it's not going to cause that much issue. You might go over your macros, but okay, it's not the end of the world sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, even you could try the carnivore butter bites, the protein pancakes on my website, my YouTube channel, or like you said, the biltong. Like some of the biltong we get technically is beef jerky, which has different seasonings on it.
Oh, okay.
Now it's better in some sense because it's not loaded with loads of sugar, but it's got some sugar in it. So if you have a sweet tooth, that might just pass that sort of itch initially. It's not the worst thing to eat, I don't think.
And then, so yeah, just keep it in a cupboard that you don't go into. And then I think a lot of the time, out of sight, out of mind, because I think that's like with you. If you don't see it, you don't want it, you're not bothered about it, because you know it's in the house, because obviously with the girls, and you know it's there, but because you don't see it, you don't want it. It's not until you see it that you then think about it more. And then you just think, oh, fuck it, I'll have it, because you've seen it so many times. So get like a box or something that you can't see through, and then put it in that if you don't have a cupboard that you don't go into. See if that helps.
That's great advice, thank you. Very good.
Because unfortunately people are always going to buy it. Other people are going to buy it for the kids, and it's inevitable that it's going to be in your house. So you've got to find a way to mentally get round it.
Very good. If he's mixing carbs in the lard fat, the Randall cycle is a concern. Yeah, I've imagine she's talking about little kids and processed snacks. Yeah, I mean, with children, some level of Randall cycle activation isn't the worst thing. They're going to be growing a lot, so having a slightly elevated insulin level isn't going to be the worst thing. When I say slightly, I mean like, having like a tall glass of milk sort of thing with maybe a bit of fruit every now and then. It's not the worst thing to have. Because there will be, I mean, if we look at growing babies, if you give, for example, a baby a diet of whey protein isolate so which is effectively protein, then give them butter with that. That won't activate much Randall cycle level. They'll also be very low in deuterium, so they won't actually grow as much. So it's a mixed bag when it comes to different people and how much they need to grow. Now, people that are older that aren't looking to grow from a tiny little, I don't know, 6-7 ounce baby or pound baby into like a, say, 10 stone human being. It's a different scenario, So with the late ones, I don't think it is terrible to have some amount of carbohydrates in the diet, whether it be from plant or animal foods. Obviously, it's not optimal from the plant foods, but there's definitely worse things to do, I think.
Yeah.
Liver's a good example. If they're your kids, wean them off the junk. Did that with my 3 sons who still avoid sugar in their adulthood. That's good advice. Yeah, I was the same with my mum. She didn't often feed me junk food. I remember sitting there in classroom one day and the teachers were like, how many children here have had McDonald's in the last month? Everyone put their hands up. How about the last 3 weeks? I put my hand up. 2 weeks, everyone else put their hand up. 1 week, everyone else put their hand up. Then like 3 or 4 days, like everyone put their hand up nearly every time. It just goes to show you, like, I'm living a more health conscious life because that's drilled into me at a young age. I understand the negative implications of having bad food in my diet. That's not to say I'll never have it or have never had it, but my awareness of it started at a young age. And the same thing's true when I was looking at the sugar-free drinks that I was having. When I was young, we were given sugar-free squash, which is less damaging than orange juice, for example. Despite what everyone says, I still remain the same on that. People criticise and cherry studies and things. They always do it, and I say, we know sugar rots your teeth. We don't know sweeteners rot your teeth. So there's definitely a cause and effect problem there. Other than that, I mean, I've always had, if I've had it, sugar-free squash anyway. I'd never buy, for example, straight sugar cola or Fanta with sugar in it or Tango. I'd always have the sugar-free version.
Yeah.
And I've never had, to my knowledge, tooth problems. So it seems cause and effect, I'm not obese. My blood markers seem to be fine in regards to that. I'm not diabetic. So I have no indication that what I've been doing in this time has been bad,
Yeah.
What do you think, Sophie, about like weaning off junk food? Is it easy or is it difficult for children?
I think it depends on their age, and I think it depends on obviously what's around you and who's around you. Because obviously, if they're like school age and they're young and all their friends are, saying I've had this, and this, and they've all got packed lunches and they're all showing what's in them, then obviously kids tend to kind of not copy each other, but they see what everybody else has and they want what everyone else has. So I think it's, yes, wean them off it, but I think it's teaching them the reasons why and what's good for you and what's not, I think is better than just saying, well, don't have it. Because if you tell someone don't have something and they don't know why, they kind of just think about it more and they want it more. Whereas if you explain, well, this is better than that, so have this first and then see how you feel, I think it's more beneficial for people to know, the reasons behind it. And I mean, I'm the same. I've always grown up on sugar-free squash. I've always had like 0 like fizzy drinks and sugar-free fizzy drinks. And even now, like, if I was to have a full fat one, like I can tell, and it doesn't taste right and it doesn't feel right, like on my teeth or anything. And I don't have teeth problems either, and like the kids don't. But yeah, I think obviously lead by example, and I think if they can see the adult in their life eating well and then obviously looking well as a result of that, then I think that's better than letting them have all the junk food.
Yeah, definitely so. It was regarding the carnivore diet mimicking fasting. Victoria, I've actually got a video that relates to that quite closely. So I've got a video called, if you type in composition consultant fat fasting, you'll see a video which kind of explains that. I talk about the insulin glucagon level. Basically what you'll notice with people on a standard Western diet is their ratio is something like I can't remember the life. It's like something like 2 to 1. Was I believe on a carnivore diet, it's something like 1.2, something like that. So it's like a ratio of instant glucagon that you have in your blood at a given time. And you don't want it to be negative because too much glucagon is catabolic hormone. So it means you'll deplete, you get skinny, you'll be emaciated, you can't train, you can't function, your brain doesn't work. You need some level of insulin because your body is always in a state of repair. Protein turnover, protein synthesis, anabolism effectively. That may answer your question. Let me know in my messages if it does or doesn't if you watch that video. If not, I'll be happy to try and explain further. Jerome said, thanks. I was having a chat with a potential client over the phone and I had my thoughts, but I was curious to see what Jonathan and Sophie think. Yeah. There is a Facebook group called Real Food Carnivore for Kids. They might also have different answers on there in that regard.
Yeah. And just kind of going back to it a little bit, as we know, like, it's processed food, the junk food, it's going to be everywhere because obviously it's socially normal for it to be there. So it's, teaching them what's better and what isn't, and then learning to deal with it yourself, I think will be a lot more ideal than just removing it from the house, because when you then go out into the real world, it's going to be there. Whether you like it or not, it's going to be there.
My left forearm's cramping so bad from my bicep workout today. I'm just trying to straighten it out. It's unbelievable.
Get some duck.
Duck food, yeah. I like Rick's quotes, duck food. It is true pretty much, like cereals and... One thing I always wondered what they do is they add some colourings to pet food. I thought most animals could only see in black and white, so why would they do that? I'm sure I'm missing something here. I've got something wrong here, I'm certain. So I'd buy a t-shirt. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's just the shipping costs are unbelievable. So Sophie bought me and herself some of Bart K's Meat Militia t-shirts. I dread to think how much they were to actually ship. Like, probably quite a lot, isn't it?
I can't remember the postage price of it.
Yeah, it'd be nice one day when I've got 50,000 subscribers. I think. My goal this year is to have 5,000. Next year, 10,000. We'll see how it goes. As long as this doesn't become too stressful for me trying to be perfect all the time, because I'm too far off it right now to really worry too much, Question: how does the recovery process shorten? After one hit leg training, I recovered in 6-7 days. After last one in 5. I know there are many variables. I see what you mean. So, yeah, so what you'll find, speaking of, is when you provide a novel stimulus. So, for example, if you're doing, say you're doing 6 sets to failure, then you give it a week. The next time you do 6 sets to failure, that soreness will be less. How does that happen? I honestly don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, it's an adaptation process, so it's not a novel stimulus anymore, so it's not new. So, for example, I know when I first started training, first did, for example, a squat with a barbell, my ass was sore for about 2 weeks. Really sore. I could sit on the toilet seat, like jumping up and down, trying to like not bruise it or anything. Now, nowadays, if I was to do a squat, it'd be sore for maybe like 2-3 days. Also, other things can affect it as well. So if you're quite physically active and you're getting lots of oxygenated, rich blood into your bloodstream, into your circulatory system, you'll find your recovery improves. At least the soreness will decrease. Then obviously the dietary variables will change things as well. So if you're feeding yourself enough protein but you weren't before, your sleep was impacted before, that could also make a difference. Yeah, I mean, every time you overreach your past, performance in the gym, you'll get the same soreness again, or very similar to. Because if, for example, you make a 50% jump to a 60% jump over a week, then you make a 60 to a 65% jump the next week, then 65 to 67.5 the next week, that progression will go down as each week goes by. So therefore, the novel stimulus in itself will be lesser, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask another question below and I'll be able to answer it. But what do you think, Sophie, about that, about recovery processes and how can it shorten between workouts?
I think, like you said, your body kind of adapts. And I think once you've done it and then you do it again, your body kind of knows, oh, yeah, I remember this. So then it doesn't like struggle as much because it's not had to work too hard in order to recover because it's done it before. So it's not a shock to the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then, like you say, there's many other variables, whether you've hit your protein intake, your sleep, all that kind of stuff as well.
Very good. Just looking at the questions after this point, we won't be able to answer any more if you put them in the chat now. Sophie might be able to remember them if you ask them next time, or just put them in the next video on Monday, just because we will run out of time. And I'm staring at an extremely bright light in front of me, which is draining and probably would detract from my sleep tonight. So I don't want to be staring at this beyond the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, if you screenshot them, then I can make a note of them.
I won't be able to because I can't reach my laptop.
Oh, okay. I can't see them, so.
Yeah. Free the nipple.
No, keep your nipples away. Come on. It's a PG program with some swearing.
It's amazing nowadays how many bodybuilders are walking around with like really big puffy nipples from all the drugs. Like ridiculous. It's horrendous. Like I see it on the pro level, and it's not like maybe 1 or 2 in the Olympian stage. I'm talking like 4 or 5 of them. And the other one is the shoulders. They'll have like a big bursting like bubble on their shoulder, which are like want to pop. Just from all the drugs they're putting in themselves. It's horrendous. It's really quite reckless.
From a woman's point of view, it's not attractive, guys. Like, no. That's not what us women go for.
No. Good evening, professional streamers.
That's me. I've done this many times. I'm now a professional.
Sophie's professional. I'm still getting there, I think. I think we've got some work to do on the compressor processing on the microphone, which I'll maybe be able to do tomorrow or Sunday. I need to put some pads up to the side. But other than that, yeah, I can't do much else to improve the audio. It's quite an expensive setup, as I've been told, so I don't know how to improve it if it is bad at all. But I'm glad you said professional. So nice microphone setup. I can hear you very clearly, Jonathan. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Many hours of setting up these things. These things are never just a plug and play kind of thing. They've never been like that for me. Even getting my old microphones up, which are like on the floor somewhere, like they were many hours of sorting out, like ridiculous amounts. I'm not fortunate like a lot of people where I can just get on with it and plug something in. It sounds perfect. I've got one of those weird voices where things have to be tweaked a certain way. Good. I never stretched. Used to 30 years ago when I ran every day. Yeah. That does seem advisable because you're using the same muscle fibers in a repeated fashion. So the muscle would in theory shorten. Because with weight training, you're lengthening a muscle and you're shortening a muscle maximally, usually. But then at the same time, doing that with running, it's always in the middle part of the range. So it means the muscles are always fixed in that position, which can be quite damaging to your joints if you're not freeing them up sometimes, I think. So, yeah. Yin yoga is apparently good. That sounds cool. Yeah. Sounds painful. My most flexible in 2020, I believe, I was doing, I want to say about half an hour stretching every day for at least a month. I got very flexible. I can actually still touch my toes now despite my spine being fused. So I'm quite proud of that. I'm very proud of that. But I've got a lot of tightness in my legs, which is, it's hard to stretch them out just because of the position in my hips and the way that gives me pain. But most of the muscles I can stretch out pretty well, but I don't have many issues. There is something I need to ask Jerome at some point about the vertical traction stretches that he recommends. like the pull-up sort of position. That feels awkward on my right shoulder, so I'm going to ask him about that and see what the best practice would be, because he's much more well versed in flexibility and stretching for
Yeah.
preventing injuries. That's his forte. An emotional one too.
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to think of that. It sounds quite epic. Hey Declan, how's it going? Stopping by for the algo. Hit the like button, everyone. Yep.
Thanks very much.
I'll pin that comment so people remember. Yeah, amazing. Sometimes I have like 15 live viewers at any given time. Then after the fact, I have like 7 likes. I'm like, you watched it for that long and didn't hit like. Come on.
Yeah, how dare you?
Help me out.
Should be the first thing you do is hit that like, because you know it's going to be good.
I've even started adding proper descriptions to videos now to hit the algo. Yeah, Victoria agrees with you, Sophie, about the substitution method.
Yeah, I think while you're figuring out the mindset, because I think the mind, as we all know, is very powerful. And I think that's the first thing you've got to train. And then the nutrition and exercise will come. It's teaching you how to mentally deal with things and prepare for things is what's going to be more beneficial than just knowing what you should and shouldn't eat. Because we all know it. It's just putting it into practice.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Hello. I think that's been double inserted by accident. Question. I'm 6 years working the chair, not much walking, pre-diabetic. I'm meso-carnivore. How can I start to make some muscle mass? I'm not sure what he means by meso. Meso...
Not heard of that.
I'm going to guess he means like mostly carnivore. I don't know.
Okay.
How can I start to make some muscle mass? Working the chair. I mean, are you disabled in the chair? Are you immobile? If that makes sense. Like, you know, in a what do you call it, Sophie? A wheelchair.
Yeah. I suppose
It depends if you can use your legs at all. Really.
legs or arms, yeah. Because I mean, if it's only kind of your arms that you can use, then I would say just grab some dumbbells and do some chair shoulder presses and chest presses and stuff like that. Bicep curls.
An overhead.
Yeah, an overhead
Yeah.
tricep extension. And then again, it depends. I mean, you said not much walking, so I'm going to guess that you can move your legs. So again, I don't know what the technical terms are, but the squats where you squat in front of a chair and you get your bottom to touch the chair and then you go up.
Oh, he or she is working at the office, so their office workers, they sat down a lot of the time, it sounds.
I mean, you can take some dumbbells into the gym. Why not? Get out on your lunch break. But yeah, I would say maybe when you get back from the office, even if you plan yourself 15 minutes and just do some at home, like dumbbell stuff is a good way to start, I'd say.
I think if you're wanting the simplest approach to become less diabetic, if there is such a scale, I'm going to say build some muscle mass up. If you're very limited as in you got a short period of time, you don't have the understanding of how to work muscles properly in specific movements, you might actually use an exercise bike. So you might just do high intensity interval training. So you might do 1 minute fast, 1 minute slow, or 30 seconds fast, 1 minute slow. That will help lower your blood glucose levels if they're elevated chronically. If you have the patience to learn movements, which is good, then that'd be even better. Then you could just do some calisthenics things. The only issue with those is it's very tricky to find a way to do rowing and pulling movements. So things to target your back, basically. But a push-up against the sofa, a push-up with your feet on the sofa, a shoulder press push-up against the wall. You can use shopping bags to do bicep curls or overhead extensions. I'd say probably look at. I've got a video coming up at some point within the next. It's not very helpful, but within the next month. That is from Jerome about body weight exercises and calisthenics. That might be useful. I also have a selection of about 5 videos, or 3 to 5 videos on my recovery post spinal fusion. I demonstrate some exercises you can do that don't require any equipment,
Hmm.
or at least just a bench or something to put your arms on, basically. So there's different things you can try. That's what I'd
Yeah.
recommend.
And I think you've said before about the pre-diabetic, even just going for a 10-minute walk after food can kind of help with the diabetes. It
Mm,
could just be around the house, around the office. Obviously, like on your lunch break, I'm hoping you can, get off your desk and just walk around the office for 10 minutes. Something is better than nothing.
yeah,
Starting small and doing something is better than not doing anything at all. So,
yeah. Okay, this is the last question from Rick, by the way. So please do not put any more in the chat. I don't want to say it again because it means you'll miss out next time. We'll answer this one and I'll skim through the ones above it. So I see many people struggling to avoid processed foods. Many people I know struggle with this. Are they trained to like that stuff, or is it learned behavior? Could it be genetic? It could be lots of different things. I think I've got an interesting quote. So I believe that success and winning is habitual. The more you win or successful, the more of a habit it becomes. Some people are predisposed to lifestyles or situations in their environment where they are less successful. Think of a morbidly obese family. Often it runs across the whole family.
hmm
Then that will pass on a level of, well, to put it plainly, the genes that come off from that family downstream will be in such a way that they're more likely to be diabetic, more likely to crave processed foods. That becomes their set point, because that's their norm. That's what they see around them for the majority of the day.
mm
Now, if you take someone that is morbidly obese in an office and put them into a separate office where they're with fit, active people, where everyone there is a professional bodybuilder, for example, then yeah, they're probably more inclined to follow suit with that, and they're more likely to actually go to the gym, I think.
mm.
So it's situational, partly genetic, and I think the main thing is the mental health side of it. So a lot of people that I know that have any binge eating issues or struggle to avoid processed foods, they do have very bad mental health states in most cases,
Mm.
or at least in a lot of cases, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the same. It's like a kind of a mixture of everything. I think the way that we eat, although it is normal because it's the way our ancestors ate, we're labeled as not normal for the way that we eat because obviously society's normalized everything else. So I think a lot of people are kind of scared to go away from the norm because they don't want to look different. So they kind of just like go with it to fit in. Does that make sense? So it's like because they've then done it for so long, it's hard to like retrain a habit or like break a habit kind of thing.
Yeah. If the third time, guys, please don't put any more questions in the chat because I'm straining my eyes very badly looking at the light, and it will distract from my sleep tonight. Strong vibrating plate. No, I think they're damaging. They're bad for your joints. They don't actually stimulate more muscle fibers, despite what many people claim or articles claim. If you are going to do it, you could do a static lunge or a static squat position using one of those. So you just effectively, like, imagine you're sitting down in a chair, but I wouldn't be doing something like that often because it will cause you joint deterioration.
Mm.
Now, Victoria's going to look for the fat fasting video.
Wonderful.
Tom said, just sort out your audio once and then leave it alone. Don't meddle with it like Bart is doing lately.
Problem is, I think some of the systems, as soon as you turn it off, it kind of like naturally goes back to like default. So then you do have to keep reprogramming it. It doesn't like stay as what it is.
Yeah, so what we discovered yesterday with the processing on my microphone is that the first time I used it, it would reset itself. Now, every time I open the program itself to process my voice so it sounds a bit clearer, it does save the settings.
Oh, okay.
So unfortunate in that sense. I know, but what I will do each time is I'll double check it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a habit you have to get into, but it's frustrating because I don't know why they make these softwares in such a way that it doesn't remember what you've put in before.
Mm.
Doesn't seem to make sense because you should be
No.
open up and save settings. But yeah, there's lots of processing issues you can have when you're using different setups, and oftentimes people in studios will use what I've been told today is more microphones, which often causes more issues. So the more, it's like having an old-fashioned Nokia phone, and you can ring people, it turns on, turns off, you can send texts, it does its job.
Yeah.
Now you have a modern day smartphone. How many times do I have force closing issues on my phone, or YouTube
Yeah.
doesn't open, or Instagram doesn't keep me saved to log in? All these things happen. So it does delay my workflow a lot when I'm having these issues. It's really frustrating because the software is not built correctly in most cases, and that's even the stuff you pay for. Like
Oh yeah.
sometimes the app that I use to track nutrition is rubbish. It'll not load, and I'm like, I'm paying £6.49 a month for this. I originally paid I think £3.99 years ago, or £2.99. I'm paying more money, and the quality of it is actually less because they're adding more functionality that I don't need to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's very frustrating. Nonetheless, that's the end of the Q&A for today. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you,
I should see you guys tomorrow on Bart K's live, assuming that everything works. I hope it does, because I'll be stuck if it doesn't.
And we shall see
Yeah.
you back here Monday for some more carnivore muscle ramblings with hopefully Jerome as well if he's better.
Excellent. Yeah, everyone wish Jerome well. Please follow his channel if you're not already. Be much appreciated. All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers. Bye.